SimRacing, Scuderia Ferrari Edition, the heart of the race.
Hello everyone and welcome to round 14 Formula SimRacing for 2019. This is the Academy Championship and it is the last race of the season. We've got 43 laps around Interlagos circuit here today, and last time out Felix did not take the championship, so it is between him and Jan Woznica today. Those two will be fighting for the title, but there's also a fight for third place as well, which we will get you details as we go to the into the warm-up session. And now we are here for 3 laps around a 4.3 kilometer Interlagos circuit. We've got 2 DRS zones, which you can see by the 2 green lines there, so there's plenty of overtaking opportunities, and this is one of driver favourites as well, being such a short fast track. However, in the background, got the qualifying session just started a few minutes ago, and in the so joined by Felix van Delft.
Hi there. Yeah, looking forward to today's last race of the season. Of course, the entire event as Formula SimRacing with the World Championship obviously later today finishing off as well. Even though we've already finished both championships, but that should be a nice little final of this season as well.
Interlagos always brings up some pretty good races over the last few years, and I'm sure we are going to get something similar today, especially as there's a championship on the line for these drivers, at least 2 of them anyway, being Kasrikveld and Jan Woznica. But this qualifying session is going already, and we got Palesek coming across the line now for TCS off, and he goes up to 6th place there. This is only his second outing for TCS off team, having been an in team couple of races. So it's good to see him up there in 6th place, make some good improvements. Now we've got Danove Brentholm going up to 16th place as well. Yeah, the drivers obviously have 4 timed laps, as we've said across the season. Most drivers have done 2 of their laps. At the moment, it is Zoltsuks on provisional pole position from James Zuber, who actually had a good race last time out in Kota. So I think incident happened, which is what caused him to be quite so high towards the end. Henry Sinnick is battling Tom Lombart's 3rd place in the championship, and they are right behind each other. Now, board with Jan Woznica, your title contender. He's actually gone purple in the 1st sector. Only a few hundredths quicker than other people, as 1st sector is really only sort of 1-2 corners. Any sort of significance, so it's hard to gain time, but he's purple in the 1st sector. He's come through sector 2 now. He's gone personal best as well, so this could be provisional pole position for Jan Woznica, which will put him in a great position to try and win this title. He is 19 points behind Rietveld though, and yes, he goes to pole position there on a 107.0, so not quite into the 106s just yet. Yeah, being 19 points behind, he basically needs to win the race to have any sort of effort to win.
Yeah, obviously, still, because Rietveld then either needs to finish outside of the points as well, or DNF or something like that. So chances are slim for Jan, but it's still possible. So of course, we expect him to keep fighting. Still a €50 bonus for the winner of the championship. So basically a €50 final shootout here today for these two drivers.
I'm on board with a debutant, George Zalogiannis, who is also racing for TCF. TCF has quite a few drivers here today. He doesn't improve and stays in 13th place for now. Seen Irisio Vatsky pop up into 3rd place as well. He is another one of those drivers fighting for 3rd place in the championship, although he's dropped off a little bit over the last few races. So he's not quite in the same fight. But if anything happens, then he will certainly be there to pick up pieces. James Zuber in P4. Further showing how good drillers have been in the second half of the season. They've really sort of turned on and brought the battle to the ACR ISMRS team.
Yeah, they definitely have. Just noticing, because Rietveld is on a flyer, or at least a flying lap. Not very good first sector, at least compared to Woznica. Almost 2/10 slower what he's doing there. Second sector, maybe he has a little bit of a different setup, bit more downforce, so that
Sorry,
would
James
expect.
Zuber just goes to 2nd place.
There we go. But as I was saying, downforce, a bit more downforce can give you a bit more time in the second sector, but then of course lose a bit in the first and the last sector. Let's see that second sector indeed a bit quicker than what Woznica did there, almost 2/10. And Henry Sinek in the meantime goes to provisional pole, only just. Let's see what Kaz can do. Only up to P10.
Yeah, Henry didn't set a single purple sector, so it wasn't looking like a sort of the best lap that we would assume, but that just shows that there's still time left in the circuit. There is certainly some time to be gained. If we have a look down, we got 3/10 covering the top 9 drivers and a second covering the whole field. Such is the ways of Brazil and Interlagos and how it works. Such a short circuit. And half of the circuit really is straights, because by the time you come out it's effectively the final corner at the start of Sector 3. You don't really have many corners to where we are with Zoltsuks now, coming up to turn 6 and 7. They're not the most meaningful before that, so half of the track is really straights, and he's actually got a bit of traffic here, his laps, which is the negative side of having such a short, tight track. Thunder still on the entry there, but he manages to get it in. Coming round to complete Sector 2. He's gone purple in Sector 2, has Zoltsuks. So maybe he's running that little bit higher downforce. We'll have to see if he loses time coming up this main straight, opens up the DRS, and he will now be coming across the line to see where he goes to. And he goes to pole position. Zoltsuks now on provisional pole position with 6 and a bit minutes left.
Quite a bit of margin as well to Henry Sinek, almost 2/10. Considering it's such a short track with such a short lap time, that's quite a big margin. But let's see if the other drivers are still able to contest this. Almost everybody has still one attempt left to try and beat that time. And I think the first guy that's going to be starting that final attempt is going to be Jan Woznica in just a bit. He's just entering Sector 2 right now.
Jan is actually he's actually on a lap right now. He's been given a first sector. It's a 16.5, which is pretty much what everyone else is doing. So he hasn't really lost any time yet, although he's really wiggling about on the throttle there.
Yeah, it looks a bit like a messy lap to me. At least it doesn't look like a very clean lap. Might be quick, but we'll have to wait and see. Coming to the second sector marker, entering the third now. What is it going to be? Nah, no way.
6 tenths down on
Yeah.
Zoltsuks in that second sector. There's no way you're going to gain 6 tenths back just on the main straight if you're using any sort of reasonable setup in you. 5 tenths down on his time.
Yeah, so he has still one attempt left to try and beat that time of Zoltsuks. That's obviously his goal. Cas Rietveld in the meantime still down into P10. I would assume not where he wants to be, but
hasn't had the best qualifying this year, has he? But he's always come through in the race. I think it was Spa. He actually started, I think, 12th, and he managed to get second in that race. There's a couple of other occasions as well where he's just been really low down, or at least low down compared to where you would expect him to be. Sort of around the sort of 10th, 12th place. Still manages to bring it back in the race. So if he wants to win this championship, we'll obviously need to score some points today because it looks like Jan is going to be fighting for the win. Siravatsky coming to the line, currently in P5. It's quite a long run up to the line, and where he goes. Where does he go? Goes into P4. Siravatsky, and most of the top 13 or so are in the garage, just waiting for their final attempt. So obviously you want to be that last person out, really, to get the most track rubber that you can. So the track will grip up, and you'll gain just a little bit from that. This has gone into 14th place. Someone who is probably similar to where he's been in races, but Matt Tucson is down in 12th place. He had a really good race last time out. I think he got 4th in the end after Lapin's got a penalty. Really good race from him, and he's got an outside chance of getting 3rd place in the championship. See, with Henry Sinix in 2nd place at the moment. It's not looking very likely, but he's still got that chance if it's to happen, which they can do. Circuit.
relatively quiet on track now. Only driver that's on the lap at the moment is Alfie Lawrenson. He's just entering the wall.
Not the last sector yet. He's a bit low down, isn't he? 14th place. He won Suzuka, was 2nd last time out before a penalty post race. So, a bit weird to see him down in 14th place, especially with his teammates being up there, but he's still got another run left. 2 minutes and about 45 seconds to go now, so plenty of time. Some drivers will probably leave the pit lane with about 1 minute 45, so over the next minute or so we're going to see all of the drivers who, I think all of them at the moment are actually in. Well, actually no one's setting laps, so they must either be in pit lane or out laps.
Yeah, Zoltsuks is on out lap. Let's see who's. I think James is going to be one of the first to start his flying lap, his final attempt here, coming through the first 2 corners. Now into turn 4. Difficult corner because it goes down a little bit. It's easy to run wide on the exit there, as you see him do a little bit as well. Then 6-7, very quick right-hander. You throw it in there, but then you have to brake as well in time for corner number 8. And then this left-hander, try to keep it as close to the curb as possible to have it turn in a little bit. And then this right-hander braking again and steering a little bit. Easy to lock up the front tire, right front tire. And down this hill, all full throttle over the bumps. Braking late for the last corner, throwing in there as well. And then on the power again, down the main straight.
Getting some possible tiny bit of slipstream from a teammate up there, although he's a bit far away to really get anything meaningful. So where does James put himself? He stays in P5. So James will not be getting pole position today. Someone who's done a good first sector at the moment is Tom Lombart's down in 6th place for Ghost Speed. He actually says to me the other day that he was not going to be attending this race, but he obviously managed to make his way. But he's basically done the first wow, I can't see. He's on the same first sector as everyone else, a 0.6, so certainly a decent lap he's going to be on. And he's on, yeah, pretty decent middle sector as well. Tokarev goes up to 5th in the meantime. Nice lap from him. Just see where Tom Lombards comes to the line. 7th place at the moment. Where does he go? Stays in 7th place. Jump to Cass Revold, who actually abandons his lap. So Cass is going to be down in 10th place at best. So the other person we can focus on is Jan Wozniacka. Henry Sinek has finished, is in 2nd place. Zoltsuks is just ahead, so we will see what Zolt can do. Currently on provisional pole position, and he increased his lead at the top. Does not improve, so he's still on provisional pole position. Jan Wozniacka actually, yeah, he's lost a bit of time as well. Again in that middle sector, so I don't think this is going to be an improvement from Jan Wozniacka.
Seems to be like he's pushing a bit too hard there.
Yeah, he's again 3/10 down. So we got a couple more drivers finishing their laps. Got Matt Tucson just coming to the line. Running 13th place. Can he get himself into the top 10? Goes to 11th place. Last race of the season. Tucson will be starting in 11th. I think the final driver to cross the line might be Rivers. Currently in 8th place. Podium back in Baku. Stays in 8th place. So that is your grid for last race of the season, and your 2 championship contenders are in 3rd and 10th position.
Interesting stuff to consider during the race. I believe the gap right now is 19 points. So were Cass Rietveld to finish outside of the top 10 or top 15, of course, he doesn't get any points. If Zoltsuk wins, he gets the trophy. And I think if he finishes second too, right? Because it's 20 points for second, if I'm not
20
mistaken.
points for second.
Right, so if he finishes second as well. But then if Cass Rietveld finishes 15th, he get 1 point. So then it will be 20-20, and I think
Jan would win on
Jan
countback.
would win it on wins.
Yeah, so it's
yeah.
it's going to be quite close, I think. But having said that, I assume Cass is going to move up from 10th place, and even if he gets 10th place, that will be 6 points. And if Jan wins, that will be oh no, that'll be not enough actually, will it?
Mm-hmm.
That'll be 19
Wouldn't
points.
be. Yep.
So Cass does have to improve.
He does. He cannot afford any mistakes right now, and he needs to improve from his current position. So pressure is definitely on him.
Yeah, so while we just sort out the warm-up session and do some more maths for the championship, we'll go to a quick ad break. Back to run you through all the details this final race of the season here in Brazil.
Hey man, I got that new TMX Thrustmaster wheel. It's going down.
Xbox One?
I can't wait to play when I get home.
Yo, let me play.
Yeah, after I play first. Yeah.
You know, I'll race it for it.
So I have one.
Racing, Scuderia Ferrari Edition, the heart of the race.
Do you want a more immersive experience? Thrustmaster T150 force feedback racing wheel. Official PS3 and PS4 licenses, and also PC compatible. Rubber,
Racing, Scuderia Ferrari Edition, the heart of the race.
Hello and welcome back to round 14 of Formula SimRacing Academy Championship, the last race of the season. 43 laps here today around the Interlagos circuit. is Cameron Webb, so joined by Felix van Delft. In the background, we've got the drivers just completing their warm-up laps. And, the championship is still on the cards, so Casreveld is leading the championship by 19 points, which means Jan Wozniacki needs to get 20 points over Cass this race, because if they draw on points, Jan will win on, so Jan only needs 19 points. Cass needs to make sure he doesn't lose 20 points, because if they draw on points, Jan will win on countback, because he has had more wins. He's had 5 wins so far, Cass has only had 3. So Cass needs to not lose 20 points. So if Jan wins, Cass needs to be 9th place or higher. So that is pretty much what we are looking out for today. It's Cass being within the top 9. Whatever happens, he will be champion here today for Academy Series in 2019.
Yeah, big pressure for the Dutch driver, of course. Let's hope for him that he's able to cope with it and at least give us a good battle for that final position of the final position of the championship, the first position of the championship, I should say. But of course, that's going to be what we're gonna see in the race. 43 laps. Strategy-wise, we have the super soft, the soft and a medium, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Right, so all the people that qualified in the top 10 will be starting from the super soft. That includes Rietveld, because he is starting P10. So he can't really do a different strategy to the rest, at least not in the first stint. Might be able to do something in the second stint. I'm guessing it's probably gonna be a 1 or maybe 2 stop, but probably 1, right? So super soft and then go to the medium and go to the end, right?
We'll have to see what they do, but I'm sure a lot of drivers will be going for that one-stop strategy. The mediums are fairly capable, but it just depends how long they can make the super softs last. Because one issue with the super softs is it's not necessarily the wear as such, but it's the thermal degradation. If you push them really hard for 5 laps, then they toast, and 5 laps will possibly not be enough to get the mediums to the end. So we'll have to see what they do. Sure, these drivers will have learned the tyres by now, because super soft, the soft and the medium is middle of the 5 compounds we have. So these tyres the most over the season, so they should by now know how to look after them. We have seen, especially in the academy, because the race is shorter, they have a bit of leeway generally with their pit stops. It's not like in, say, pro or sometimes championship, where you're sort of limited by the distance of the tyres. Here, they have a couple of laps that they can push extra, so that generally makes some people pit early, some people pit late, and then there's a really big offset in performance as we get to the closing stages of the race. And it's looking good for Rietveld, actually. He's 2nd place in the warm-up session at the moment. He's obviously got the race pace in that car, although he's just had a big spin just to save it. So that doesn't happen in the race to him. He needs to finish P9 or higher once everything has worked out. And there are quite a few grid penalties today. Mistaken, see on the list there's guys who have grid penalties, so the order will change a little bit for a couple of the drivers, but then when we finish the warm-up session, go into the race, we will be able to see exact grid once the race director Peter Schultz has organised the grid and all the penalties and such. Last time out in Kota, ACR Isomars actually won the constructors title. Unfortunately, we missed that in the race. I mean, Go Speed only had one driver last race as well. Drillers ended up not having the best race in the world. So with Isamaris getting a 1-2 with Jan and Cassidian, that meant they won the constructors title. But in second place, got Drillers on 210.5 points, Ghostspeed on 209.5, and then Royal Blue on 203.5. Obviously, the 0.5s because we had that red flagged race in Baku, so drivers got half points then. But those three teams are only 6 points apart for second place in the constructors. Yeah, Netrex behind them are a little bit too far away in reality, 35 points, so they would need to get some good results with the other teams basically DNFing. That fight for second in the constructors is also something to look at as we head to the warm-up session is just about finishing. And something we should mention as well is third place in the Drivers' Championship. Now got Tom Lombards in third place, but behind him, only 3 points behind is Henry Sinek, and only 9 points behind him is Tucson. 7 points behind is Alfie, and 2 to Siravatsky. So those drivers, Lombard, Sinek, Tucson, Lawrenson, and possibly Siravatsky as well, are in the shout for third place and the driver. So there's quite a few to look out for. But now that we are on the grid and we can run you through the grid for today's race, Felix, if you.
Yeah, of course. So Zolt Soeks on his, I believe, first pole position, second actually, second pole position for him here in Brazil. And then Henry Sinek, as you say, contender for third place in the championship. In second place, he will be looking to at least stay in this position. Jan Bosnica, main championship contender, together with Kas Rietveld in third. He's looking very strong for today as well. Yiri Siravatsky in fourth, and then Vlad Tokarev in fifth. Good qualifying from him. We've seen some good performances from him in the early parts of the season, but then dropping a little bit back in the latter parts. But now coming back at least to the top 5 here at the last race of the season. And James Tsuba, sorry if I mispronounce any names. Tom Lombards in 7th, and like I said already, P3 contender. Noah Rovers in P8. Peter Palazek in P9. Kas Rietveld P10. He's looking to at least improve from this position, because if Jan wins the race and he finishes where he qualifies, he's not going to get the championship. Matt Tucson P11, starting on those medium tires, so he'll be looking to do a different strategy to the drivers in front of him. Gerard Batala P12, same thing for him. Then Ove Brentham in P13. Indrek Remets in P14. Alfie Lawrenson a bit further down than he would like. P15. Edward Batala in P16. Matthias Canapino in P17. George Zalogiannis in P18. Danny Robbins P19. Miguel San Mateo in P20. Patrick Rusinak in P21. And Milan Rajkovic in P22. Michael Wilson 23rd. Ernest Lapins in 24th, Balazs Galiar 25th, Marco Felix in 26th, Mihailo Vicentovic in 27th, George Chettipantelis 28th, and Joey Vrolik 29th. And closing off the grid, at least from the pit lane, it's Gretschek Luksak.
Yes, so now we line up for 43 laps around Interlagos. And these drivers now are getting the red lights as we build up for the last race of the season. Who is going to win the championship? Let's see what they do as they come down into turn 1 for the first time. And it seems Henry Sinek has got a good start. He's actually going to be down the inside, but Zoltz is going to keep it round the outside. And there's some contact there between Jan Wozniak and... Oh, someone spun. Someone spun. I think that's James Zuber has spun. And there's a ghost speed without a front wing as well. So a bit of carnage down the back there, and there's a huge gap between these first 3 drivers. And we've got another Drillers driver on the grass going side by side with Vlad Tokarev, that is. So that must be Alfie Lawrenson.
Yes. Yes, indeed. It seemed like a bit of a struggling start for Zoltsuks. Henry Sinnek didn't manage to get past him. Jan Wozniak was looking to get past Sinnek as well, but couldn't really manage to do so. Great start for Cas Rietveld, following that little incident in the first couple of corners, up to P6 already. So he will be happy about that. Alfie Lawrenson, same thing for him.
Yeah, I've just found it's Tom Lumbart's without front wing, so that is not good for his third place in the championship hopes, because Henry Sinnek is up to, still in second place. So as we finish the first lap, Zoltsuks is leading the race from Henry Sinnek and Jan Wozniak, who have got a couple of seconds gap to Noah Rivers, who's made his way up into fourth place. And then got Peter Palazek in P5, Cas Rietveld in P6. That is enough for him to win the championship, but there is still 42 laps to go in this race, obviously. And then Alfie Lawrenson, he started in P15. He is up to P7. That is an amazing start for the Drillers driver.
Sinnek is battling hard, by the way. Also, Jan Wozniak trying to find the gap. Sinnek trying to get past Zoltsuk. So it seems like Zoltsuk is a bit slow here, at least in the starting stages of this race. Wozniak and Sinnek are both trying to find a way past each other and also past this Netrex driver in front of them.
And we've already got 3 DNFs, Vicentovic, Chatsipantelis and Mateus Canapino. I think I saw Canapino going off in the background around turn 3, the curve to Sol. And there's also another car sitting on the outside if you look on that track map as well. So there's going to be another DNF, and that was Edward Batella. So obviously something must have happened in turn 3. We'll see if we can get a replay of that in a moment's time. But now Jan Wozniak going down the... Oh, didn't actually make it work. He sort of had the room, but doesn't really need to risk much. Like, he does need to win this race, has to be said, but can see the lead. He obviously has a strategy in the back of his head. He doesn't need to do anything stupid. And now Henry Sinnek going for the lead, although that might give Jan Wozniak another look coming up to turn number 6. Although this is a really difficult corner to overtake, especially on the outside like Jan was.
Yeah, like you said before, the old saying applies to Jan: to finish first you have to finish. So I at least expect him to try to keep those words in mind for the rest of this race. There's still 41 laps remaining, and everything can still be done for, even if he's in P3 at the moment. But these 2 drivers behind Zoltsuks are definitely looking for a way past. However, the gap to Noah Rovers has been getting bigger, and Cas Rietveld starting to breathe down the neck of Peter Palazek.
He's going to try and jump on board with James Zuber at the start to see what happened, because I'm pretty sure it was him who was the Driller's car around. So coming into turn 1, he's in the middle of a 3-wide situation. There's a bit of contact with a TCS off kart. And then, yeah, with Vlad Tokarev, he spins and Tom Lombards couldn't avoid, loses his front wing. That is how James Zuber got sent to the back, and Tom Lombards lost his front wing. James now down in 17th place, or having a bit of a wiggle there as well for good measure. So Vlad Tokarev is now behind Alfie, and Alfie is on those medium tyres. So as we saw in, was it Kota? He was also on the alternate strategy. Certain that gave him a good opportunity. It's the end of the race, so we'll have to see what he does as we go on. But now this top 3 spread out a little bit. Jan dropping off a bit. Obviously doesn't
Sinnek isn't,
quite
though.
have the pace.
He's going to go for the move around the outside coming into turn 1. It's not going to be easy, late braking. Zook's still on the inside. A little bit of a wheel bang there coming into turn 2. But it seems that Sinnek has made the move stick. DRS will be for Zooks right now. Maybe he can make a move. No, already Jan Wozniak going up the inside here coming into turn 4. Hard braking for both of them. Seems like Jan Wozniak way off the corner. Doesn't need to run wide too much. Running off the road a little bit. But he was almost totally behind him already before they turned in. So Wozniak taking that second place, and Zoltsuks running from 1st to 3rd in only 2 corners time.
Yes, it's a little bit unfortunate really for Zooks, but and there was a little bit contact going through turn 1, but he sort of tried to fight it a little bit too much, which made him lose too much momentum coming out of the Senna S chicane. He's now got to try and work his way up. That's like what I said about Jan a couple of laps ago, is there's no reason for him to be over aggressive, because something like that happens and he's already up into P2. Now he's going to be thinking about Henry Sinek, although he's far too far behind. It does make Henry think about it. It misses the apex slightly, actually. I could give him a nice run here. Could give him a nice run here, although this isn't the longest DRS zone in the world. So I don't think it's going to quite happen on this lap, but he is going to try for it. I think that's a bit of quali boost being used from Jan Wozniakker as well. It's going to give him the undercut if he can get his front wing alongside, which he just about can. But he's going to have to go round the outside of turn 6. This is going to be really incredible if he can make it happen, but he can't. He's going to try and dive it down the inside, but again, doesn't quite make it work on this occasion. But he's up for this, isn't he, Jan? He's certainly up for this to try and win this championship.
Yeah, he's not going out without a fight, obviously. But you can see him also still be mindful. He's not diving for the corners where you really shouldn't dive your car. It's easy to do so here in Brazil. There are a few corners where you think you can just throw it up the inside. But if you do so, you're probably either going to lose a front wing or going to spin around at least. And Wozniakker being really careful about that. Now, coming into turn 1 again, a little bit too far back, I think, to really make something work. But if you can stay close enough, and if Sinek keeps doing those little mistakes like he does there, just braking a little bit too late, going a little bit deep into the corner, then Wozniakker might be able to get past in the next 1 or 2 laps, or maybe already coming into turn 4 here. No.
I do think Jan is using some quali boost to try and get past Henry, but as we saw in Singapore, when these two are battling as well for the lead of the race, Jan blew his engine, and that would really not do him any favours in trying to win this championship here today, so he does need to be careful with that. And there's no immediate rush. He's only really got Zooks behind him. Rivers is doing a decent job there in 4th place, but he is about 1.5 seconds behind Zooks.
Yeah, in the meantime, the drivers behind him have closed in a little bit. Noah Rover's starting to catch up slightly. Peter Palasek, same thing. And Cas Rietveld, I think he's going to look to make a move on Peter this or the next lap, maybe. Coming into turn 1, obviously Peter also has the DRS from the car of Noah Rovers in front of him. So Rietveld doesn't really have the massive benefit of that DRS. Wozniakker too far back this time around.
Yeah, he's there. He's trying to make Henry. He's trying to force Henry into a mistake. He's really all over his mirrors, and he's trying so hard. Look at this. He's all over the back of him, trying to find a way through. And it does make you wonder what these guys are doing with their tyres. They're already on to lap number 8, so 35 laps to go. I would assume, especially these drivers in Academy, not to get too much more than about 30 laps maybe out of the medium tyres. So we'll have to see how that goes. And if they're pushing this hard, maybe they think they're okay. That is something we will find out as time goes on.
I think Rietveld will be making the move this time around, coming into turn 1.
So it's Alfie Lawrenson's actually going to be having a think about it. Oh no, he backs out a little bit. Cass is also in a position where he's sort of playing it. He's playing it fairly safe, but he also does want to get past Palisek, because Rivers is going up the road, and it looks like he's going to be trying it around the outside. Although this is a bit of a risky move, especially when you've got a championship on the line. He's going to be on the curb, and that is going to be Alfie Lawrenson coming up the inside of turn 5. Yeah, it was just a bit too risky for Cass, who has now lost a place down into P7. Remember, it's only P9 that he needs, but doesn't want to be held up and get involved with other people's issues.
Yeah, Alfie is of course as well on the medium tires compared to pretty much everyone else in front and behind him at the moment. At least the drivers that started in the top 10, they are all on the super soft. And Alfie on those mediums that are probably going to get only better and better from this point on compared to the super soft. They are just dropping off now, and the medium still staying relatively consistently quick, at least pretty decent
Vlad
for those tires.
Tokarev is the first person into the pit lane at the end of lap 9. He is the first one to make a pit stop. Let's see what he goes on to. I assume the mediums. Yep, that is the mediums. And actually, my maths is bad, isn't it? It's only 33 laps to go. So that should be just about doable,
Should be
possibly,
doable.
but that's
Yeah.
on the limit. We have seen that he is one of the drivers who eats his tyres a little bit more. 33 should be doable in the grand scheme of things, but obviously his tyres are going to be worse at the end compared to everyone who is staying out at the moment. But Vlad will gain a bit of track position with the undercut, as these super soft tyres will start to go off. And something I noticed on the last lap is Zooks is now 2 seconds off Jan Wozniacki. So I wonder if Zooks made a mistake or if he is just dropping off because of his tyres. I have to see if he makes a pit stop now. We're at the end of lap 10. As he comes up the hill. Yes, he's staying left, and so is that Rivers coming in as well? No, Rivers stays out. Alfie Lawrenson in the background. Is he going to be making a move finally on Palazek? Yes, he is. So he makes that work after a couple of laps sitting behind. So this will give Cass another opportunity to get Palazek. He will obviously have DRS coming down on this occasion. And Palazek is not giving this up, actually. He's going to try and go... Actually, he's not going to go around the outside because, as we saw with Cass, only lost time from that. Jared Patella as well on the medium tyres. Same situation as Alfie, obviously only about a second behind or so. But Gerard could be another one to look out for. The alternate strategy has been fairly powerful in a lot of races so far, because those mediums are so consistent.
Let's see what Cynic and Wozniacki are going to do. Cynic is into the pits. Wozniacki stays out. Okay, good to see. So Cynic probably going a bit longer on those medium tires. Let's see how long Wozniacki stays out.
Palazek has gone into the pit lane, which gave Cass reveal, but it wasn't enough to defend from Patella. So Patella has gone past. And Cass is now going to have the DRS back, and he's actually got a good run out of turn 3. Gerard's fighting this really hard. Cass has got to be careful. Doesn't need to lose his front wing. And he's now got his teammate Rajkovic behind him, also on those medium tyres. So Cass is actually the last person on this strategy, really. There's only 4 people on track on those super softs, but Siravatsky is pretty far down. So Cass is really the last person on that first strategy, starting on the super softs. So this did see last time out in Kota, there was a massive undercut for people who pit first. So I have to see what that does for people around them. And let's see, what does Jan do? Comes into the pit lane, but Noah stays out. So Noah Rivers takes the lead of the race, I believe, for the first time since Baku. He has really led a race. Obviously, this is mostly due to strategy, but he's still in a decent position today. The Cass has gone 1 lap longer than Henry Cynic, and where is Henry? Henry is coming through turn number 1 now, and Jan was still in his pit box, so Henry has easily got the lead here. This undercut is going to be absolutely massive for Henry Cynic, and Jan is actually going to get stuck in a bit of traffic here. Jan has got 4 cars ahead of him. So this has worked out really well. Oh, there's a bit of contact there. Who was that? Was that Matt Tewson being pushed off? It was. Oh, almost hits the wall. And he rejoins down in 16th place. So that is 1 person out of the way for Jan Wozniacki. But still 3 drivers. This might be a strategy blinder from Henry Cynic.
Including Zooks as well. So maybe just a strategy blunder of SimRacing and Jan Wozniacki here at the moment, because Zooks was, remember, almost 3 seconds back before the pit stops compared to Henry Cynic and Jan Wozniacki.
Yeah, that is true. But one thing we did see last time out in Kota was Henry pitted first, but his tyres absolutely fell off the cliff at the end of the race, and he lost so much time, and he eventually span as well because his rear tyres were so done. But Jan Wozniacki going to the inside of Zoltz. He might get a double overtake here. He might be able to get both drivers coming down into turn one. And if I get the right camera, yep, he has done that. Zolt's gone around the outside of the TCS offcut, although he's actually holding it back there. That is Siravatsky, I think, getting involved. Yes, it is. Who I believe has not pit if he is still out on those super soft tyres. And now Zooks is going to go down the inside. Does he have enough of a space? Yes, he does. A little bit of contact, but looked fairly okay. But Wozniacki has actually got up the road by about a second now, or something like that. So that works out well for Wozniacki. Zooks' undercut hasn't really paid off. But Henry Sinnick is now leading Wozniacki by 5.5 seconds. Wow. Just one lap of an undercut, and he's got a 5.5 second lead.
Yeah. Great stuff for him. Now Kaz Rietveld has dropped off quite a bit from Petr Palasek. Not sure why. Let me see if I can quickly find the reason for that. Maybe
Could just be because of the it could just be because of the undercut, to be honest. If you look how
he had a very
far
slow lap last lap.
that was
I'm gonna try and
his
find
pit lap, wasn't it?
not sure.
And just ahead of him somewhere, he has Noah Rivers. So yeah, he has lost actually quite a bit of time, isn't he? To other people around him. Oh, someone's gone off there. Who is that? Vlad Tokarev has gone off down at turn number 4. Let's get a replay to see what happened. He is behind Matt Tucson. It's going to be, I would assume, opening up the DRS. He's got Noah coming across. Basically, exact same as what happened to Matt Tucson. Gets pushed onto the grass. Had to go onto the runoff to get any sort of damage or have a crash. And he is down in 17th place. But there's obviously loads of drivers who are on various strategies, and we'll have to see how this works out as the laps go on. But these mediums are going to go very far into the race for these drivers starting on the mediums.
Battle for P14. Palasek going down the inside. Great stuff there.
Just ahead, Rivers got past Matt Tucson as well. It's up into what is it's still 4th place for him. Less drivers, only one more until he's on the back of Zoltz. So he's obviously about 2 and a bit seconds behind at the moment. Oh, who's that? There's a green car. Who is that? Oh, it's Rajkovic. I thought it was going to be Jan Wozniacki who crashed, but it was Rajkovic crashed in the hairpin, it seems, and lost his front wing. It's a shame because he was actually doing pretty okay. He was one of the first people on that alternate strategy. But luckily for him, he is fairly close to the pit lane. But he's not going to get to the end, even if he goes onto the soft tyres, I think. So he's going to have to make a 2-stop here today. Rivers now going past Rusinik as well. So in just over a lap, Rivers got past 2 cars. And he's now, what's that, 1.1 seconds behind Zooks, but he does need to catch him down. We have a look to what is effectively the lead now. Yeah, Henry Sinnick is coming here into the turn 8-9 section of the track. Jan Wozniacki is a few seconds behind. He has caught down about a second and a bit so far. So he does have the pace. As I said last time out, Henry pitted first and had no tyres at the end of the race. So we'll have to see how that works out. There still being about 25 laps to go. Now we've got Matt Tucson looking on the back of Rusinik. I actually thought he was going to have to defend from Palazek. They managed to make that into an overtake. And did Palazek follow through? Yes, he did. Palazek got through Rusinik as well. So maybe there was a bit of a TCS off. Cars being nice to each other there, not holding each other up. That gives Palazek a good chance to keep on battling with Matt Tucson. Oh, he almost hits the back of him there. Coming into turn 4. Really stamping on that brake pedal, getting it all wiggly coming to turn 4, but nothing came to it, and they are still going in P9 and 10 for now. So where is Cas Rieveld? He's in 13th place. And there is at least 4 or 5 people still to pit ahead of him, so he's in about P7 or 8 overall. He's a little bit far away, isn't he? He's a little bit too far away from Jan and Zooks, etc. to really dictate what is going to happen. He's just in a position where he needs to keep doing what he's doing. See where it comes at the end of the race. Zooks now, oh, sorry, not Zooks, Wozniacka. Is it coming up to Ernest Lappins? This is some traffic he needs to get to. Cynic also had to get past Wilson on the last lap as well. And spinning up the rear tyres there. Just be careful. Still needs to have these tyres as we get towards the end of the race. This should be, I would say, a fairly easy overtake for the ICMRS car because they did have decent top speed, but we need to see what the royal blue top speed is like. But he's actually a little bit too far back in the end, coming out of that last corner. But we have seen Jan very quick in a straight line, and yeah, he's going to try and make this work now down the inside. So that is a position on the road. It's about 4.5 seconds. So yeah, he's still gained about a second overall to Henry Cynic. Still got another 4.5 to go over the next 20 odd laps. Does Cas Rieveld get past Rusinik? He's not. It's not into turn 4, but he's going around the outside of turn 6 and 7. Oh, there's a bit of contact. Oh, wow. Wow, that could have been a big crash for Cas. But he is still going. Sure, his heart is beating quite fast at the moment because yeah, if he has to make another pit stop, that might be championship over. Or if he DNFs even, that might well be championship over. Despite leading for pretty much the whole of the calendar. I think Jan got ahead one race where Cas didn't show up or something like that. But Cas is under attack now from Danov Brandholm coming into turn number 1, but Danov cannot quite make that work. Yeah, Jan did lead, I think, for only one race.
Yeah, I think it was after Britain because Rietveld DNF there. Maybe after Germany because he also finished 6th. Anyway, he's going for the move up the inside here, coming into turn 4.
That was a nice easy move compared to what he was trying. One lap ago up into turn 6. Yeah, Jan didn't show up to one race, which has helped Cas a little bit, but then they have both had their fair share of DNFs. I think they've each had 3 DNFs, if I'm not mistaken. They've been the main contenders at the front. They've won well over half of the season of the races just between these two drivers. He's now up into P12 with a big gap ahead of him. Ahead of him is Palacek trying to go past Matt Tucson down the inside of turn 1, but Tucson's going to hold it around the outside. That's some nice defense for him, but he clipped the sausage curb, actually, which has got rid of that position, and there might be another one coming for him as well, with Tokarev coming down the inside of turn 4 with DRS, but Matt is going to keep it around the outside. Can he keep it through turn 5? He'll be the longer way round. He's kept his nose in there for turn number 6. Can Tokarev go around the outside? Oh, there might be a bit of contact, but he's managed to make that work. That is a really nice move by Tokarev. That is a really nice move. Kept it around the outside, stayed committed. And fortunately, there was no contact. Made it work. So that's some nice racing there by those two drivers. For the lead now, we've got Jared Patella and Alfie Lawrenson going side by side. They got their wheels caught. How did they not spin there? Usually when you got your wheels caught like that, they spin when you go into a corner. But they're battling down to turn 4. Gerard has the DRS and he has the position as well. The driver's obviously not stopped yet. It may not be the smartest thing to battle too hard because they're in a good position right now. They're in free air. Woznica just got past Wilson. Wilson was a bit off the track, so I don't know if that was a bit of a hard move there for Woznica, but that is up to 4th place overall for the title contender. Wilson's having an alright race here in 5th place. He was down, I think, 23rd or something qualified. He hasn't had the best qualifying all season, to be honest. Something he's really struggled with, and he's given up a few good race positions, I would say, from that. Generally has a good race, so I have to see where this works out after the pit stops, how quick he can get at the end.
Yeah, at the moment, Gus still in a comfortable, effective P7. That's enough for him to take the championship, even if Woznica wins the race. But at the moment, he's only in 2nd place, of course, with a 4-second gap to Henry in front of him. So I think what Gus just needs to do right now is not make any mistakes, get to the end of this race safely. It's only 20 laps remaining. Don't get stuck trying to get past drivers like Tucson that still have to make their pit stop, but also don't really make a big mistake and try to overtake them in a place where you shouldn't, and then maybe have a crash, lose a front wing, and have the end of your championship there.
Talking about crash, James Zuba and Siravatsky just had a crash coming down into turn 4. I saw on the map they've been battling for a couple of laps down in P21 and 22, and Siravatsky is trying to go round the outside. This is a replay of a few seconds ago, and yep, they catch wheels, and that's just like I said with Lawrenson and Batella. Ironically, they're teammates. When you lock wheels like that and you go around a corner, it just always ends up in a spin. So those drivers not making their day any better. They're already well out of the points, and that hasn't helped. Yeah, Tom Lombart's down into their 22nd place now. So him losing that front wing at the beginning really didn't help his race either. And that just kind of shows that one accident, spin, whatever, here or there, can really affect your race when the field is fairly close. As we can see, most of the field is in Sector 2. If you look on that track map. On the last lap, Cass Rietveld actually just got past Matt Tucson as well. So that's another position for Cass. We haven't spoken about him in a while, but Zooks is in 7th place, which is still 3rd overall, at least for now. He's coming up behind Lappins, and he's going to make the move down the inside of turn 1. Just at the same time, Alfie Lawrenson is in the pit lane for a set of the soft compound tyres. So it's not going to be quite as quick, but he should get to the end.
18 laps though. It's not going to be too easy for him. He's going to have to at least be somewhat careful to not push them too hard. Now going side by side with indirect rim, it's coming into turn 4. Of course, his tires are a bit cold still. So decides to not really battle too hard for it, but he will have the better grip compared to him coming into turn 7 and 8 right now.
Yeah, he did this last... Well, actually, I can't remember if it was him, but I'm pretty sure it was him because he had a grip penalty. Who did this strategy last time, the medium soft. And it did work out, but his softs didn't quite make it to the end. So I have to see if he has judged it a bit better this time. And Siravaski is off again at turn number 4. I think on the last lap. I'm just going to check. Sorry, it wasn't him. Rajkovic, who went off at turn 4, battling with... I bet you that is James Zuber, unfortunately. Might be Joey Vrolic, one of the two drillers cars, and the exact same thing. Locked the wheels, spun the car around, and not the best corner for some of these drivers. Seen the exact same move happen a couple of times now.
The gap between Cynic and Woznica dropping slightly. Get now down to 3.6 seconds. Last lap, Woznica was almost half a second quicker than Cynic. So Woznica starting to put the pressure on a little bit more. But of course, there's still quite a bit of a gap between them. And this time around, Cynic responded by going 2/10 quicker than Woznica. So I think Woznica is not going to have an easy day here. Still, what is it? 15 laps remaining.
They pit lap 10, wasn't it? So they're halfway through the stint, and he's just under halved the gap because it was about 5.5. So at the average rate he's been going, it's not enough. So I have to see if Henry can keep this fairly decent pace going, or if Jan is going to keep getting better and keep closing that lap down.
Yep.
And with Cass in P10, actually, yeah, with Jan in P2, then Rovold actually only needs to be, I think, in P14 to get 2 points. So Jan actually, yeah, does need to win this in the current position that Rovold is, but there's still a few drivers left to pit.
Yeah, still 2 drivers, 3 actually. So technically, right now P7. As I said, Ernest Lappins comes into the pit lane, so to P9 Rietveld goes. Gerard Battala offering a little bit of resistance to Cynic there just earlier. But now, obviously, because he hasn't pitted yet, will be dropping back compared to him, and Woznica is the next guy to get past him. No blue flags, of course. He's still on the same lap as them, just on a different strategy.
That's one thing about these mediums as well, is that they can go so far into the race. They can do 30-odd laps. That it sort of makes things tricky with how the strategies work out. And as you say, blue flags aren't in effect to some of these drivers because they are legitimately there in that position. Not have to get out of the way. Very soon, Woznica is going to be on the back of Patella as well. 2 on track. Michael Wilson has finally come into the pit lane, onto a set of the soft tyres as well. Another person going onto the soft tyres rather than the supers. So I think, say, Lappin's just pit, he's on the softs. Tucson has pit as well, he's on the soft. So it seems that the soft is preferred. These drivers doing a one-stop starting on the mediums.
Yeah, Battala might be the guy that's gonna try to go for the super softs until the end. See if he comes in this lap already. He's been going very long on this set of mediums, of course. But to be fair, you have to say, did a decent job so far. He's going to drop down to roughly P10 as he comes into the pit lane right now. Let's see where he's going to. Indeed, a set of super soft tires. So Battala will be having the quicker tire compared to pretty much anyone on the track right now. And he is going to be rejoining around P10, P11, maybe even P12. Yeah, P12 even. So he still has some catching up to do if he wants to get into the top 10. Obviously, you still get points in the top 15. Oh, as there is somebody off the track there, George Zalogianis. Is that an engine problem? I think it's a dead engine for him, so his race over prematurely.
This is his debut, so I just wonder if he just learnt the hard way about the quali boost potentially. We'll have to find that out after the race. That is his DNF on his debut, unfortunately. So Cass is in 7th place. Tokarev has pit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Palazek hasn't.
Everybody has pit.
Oh, Palazek has as well. Oh yes, he has. It was Rusnik. His teammate. Sometimes get them used. So this is a good position for Cass Rietveld, because even if Jan does catch up to Henry, this will be enough points. And he's got a decent gap behind him, though Lawrenson is going to be catching them down, being on those soft tyres.
Yeah, Tom Lambert's behind Henry Sinek right now. Is he on the super softs? Yes, he is. Is he on fresh ones? I think so. So
He will be, yes.
Interesting. Maybe he's gonna try and
Do an Esteban
get
Ocon.
past. Yeah, let's see. Then he has to dive about right now. Yeah, tough spot for him. Of course, he kind of wants to do quick laps, but he doesn't want to bother these leaders battling basically for a championship here too much.
This is actually a bit interesting, because these guys are effectively battling for third in the overall.
Well, not really. Tom isn't anymore.
Well, yeah, Tom isn't anymore. But if Tom does a cheeky dive and trying to force Henry to make a mistake,
if Henry doesn't finish this race in the points, then Tom still has third place.
So we hope there won't be any sort of dirty games by Tom, but we'll see what happens as the race goes on, as these laps go on. But he's sat there for a little while now, but he is a lot closer on this DRS zone, and I actually think Henry might defend this a little bit, because he doesn't want to lose any time. Jan is only 1.7 seconds behind.
Yeah.
So he's not going to want to lose any time. So he really needs Tom just to slipstream and go by. Oh, and ironically now we've got a driller's car in front of...
Rietveld. Rietveld is in a bit of a battle with Tokarev and Petr Palacek. Moving up run position already compared to Tokarev now. And Kals might be able to make a move onto Palacek in the next 1 or 2 laps. He's really close to him at least.
This is seemingly working out fairly decent for Cass at the moment in P6. He doesn't need to do anything crazy or anything stupid, just needs to... Well, if he can get past Palazek, then that'll be good, but Palazek's doing a good race, and he's not going to want to give up this position.
Yeah, Lambert's getting past Sinek now. I think that should be straightforward. Is it going to be... Oh, somebody up the inside. Who's that? Oh boy. Ocon. Oh.
Oh,
Wasn't got past.
I'm going to grab a replay of this. So we've got Tom Lombards coming up the inside of Henry Sinek here, and there's also another Driller's
Yes.
car on the inside as
Who's
well.
that? James Ziba.
Yeah, Sorry, I'm going to grab a different camera angle for this.
Cynic, I think a bit really risky to dive up the inside of Tom there. I know, of course, he is the leader of the race, but Tom was already turning in, and
Yeah,
yeah,
Tom was kind of, yeah, I think that was actually on Henry, to be honest, because Tom let the other Driller's car go through, and to be honest, the actual contact was a bit unfortunate, to be honest. I think that was, but I think that was mostly on Henry, to be honest, actually. In the overall state of things, because
yeah.
he came from really far back, well into the apex of the corner. So I don't think Henry can really complain too much. That's probably just going to go down to a racing incident as such. But that does mean that Jan Woznica is in a really good position to try and take this championship. Obviously, Cass is in 5th place now that pit stops have worked out. But if anything does happen to Cass or something like that, his engine blows, whatever, then Jan is actually in a position now where he can win the championship. So he's going to get 25 points for first. Rifeld is in 5th, so that's 13 points. So he needs another 7 points at the moment. So he can't get any more. So just have to see what Rifeld can do. But at least Jan is in a position where he knows he can do, or he can do no more. He is doing everything that he can. I think Henry's tyres might actually be a little bit, at least the rear tyres might be a little bit gone again.
Yeah, also interesting to see that it's also a Driller's car there going for the 3 wide with the leader down into turn 1. Maybe not the most, well, not the smartest idea.
Yeah, indirectly, that caused the contact, which lost his teammate the lead. Because if he didn't dive down the inside, then Tom wouldn't have had to sort of check up a little bit to leave him room, which meant that Henry wouldn't have had to get involved. So that's how it goes sometimes in racing. And Jan has got these 2 cars as well. Oh, but Cass now has just got overtaken by Alfie Lawrenson. So that is, see, exactly.
He didn't defend for it though.
Yeah, there's no.
He really didn't.
Yeah, there's no point to really play it too hard. But again, if things go similar to this over the next few laps, he has got some cars behind him. Could be Jan Woznica, but we have to see. Cass is doing a fairly smart race so far. The only thing that was a little bit sketchy was going around the outside of turn 4 on, I think it was Palazek, 10-15 laps ago. That was the only thing he's really sort of done that's been a bit dodgy. But see again how this works out. So Henry has now just got past his teammate there for clear air in front of him. Jan is not losing these cars behind, including his own teammate, Rajkovic.
Yeah, they're all on the quicker tire.
It's an awkward situation though, because Jan can't lose too much time because Henry hasn't dropped off that much. But he also doesn't want to get involved with Lombards and Rajkovic fighting for position. As we see, Lombards sends it down the inside. He actually didn't make it work in the end, but he at least looked at it. Now coming up into hairpin. Again, not quite close enough, but I think that we might have a 3 wide situation coming across the start-finish line. Let's hope nothing happens this time around with 2 teammates and another driver involved. But Tom is very close, and I just really hope that they don't get involved with Jan too much here, because they're going to be very close coming down into turn 1. Oh, but Ghost Speed do not have enough top speed. Look at that. Oh, but he's actually later on the brakes. Rajkovic squeezing him, but just about leaving enough room for the 2 of them. And yeah, I know Rajkovic has got slipstream as well, but if you look, Ghost Speed clearly have a bit more wing on there as well. And I think Tom Lombards has actually got some suspension damage, but I thought I noticed that on the replay that we saw earlier as well. So that must have been from
Yeah, he
the
lost his
first
front wing.
Yeah, that must have been from the
And
first lap.
then he hit the outside wall on the main straight as well, because, well, no front wing and turning didn't really work.
When you lose your front wing, you obviously have no downforce going to the front. You got barely any grip. Oh, he
boy.
just hit the back of him there, didn't he?
Yep.
Coming into what is effectively the final corner on this lap. So he definitely has the speed to make an overtake work, but I don't think he has the top speed, especially when Rajkovic is sitting behind Wozniacki. And is Rajkovic going to go down the inside there? Let's quickly go with Jan Wozniacki. Yes, Jan Wozniacki has let his teammate go. See if he does the same to Lombards, because he doesn't want to get caught up in this battle. This is really awkward situation for the championship contender. Yeah, Lombards actually backed out of that. He closes the RS. If I was Jan right now, I'd be sweating a little bit. This is it's basically just a really awkward situation, and with having these drivers around him, especially Lombards.
Jan.
Sliding it as his. I mean, we have got 3 laps left. I wonder if his tyres are starting to lose their grip, because if we look, Henry Sinnick now is right behind Tom Lombards, at least compared to what he was 2 or 3 laps ago. So yeah, this is getting a little bit interesting, as Lombards now I think is just going to fly past. If Jan has
No.
oh no, again, Ghost Speed don't have the top speed, do they, to get past? And it's actually making this more awkward, because if he just went, he would get in the slipstream of Rajkovic and pull away, but can he do it on this occasion? It's quite interesting that one of the most interesting battles is a battle for someone to try and unlap themselves. But yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. Let's have a look at Castor Rietveld. Who's that? Jared Patella has got past as well. So it's Rietveld 7th place, but he now has a really big gap behind him to Palazek. So he is doing okay for now. He's doing what he needs to do as we come up to the penultimate lap. This next lap will be lap 42 of 43. We still don't know who is going to win either the race or the championship, because Henry Sinnick is now coming back as he gets past Tom Lombards as well. Tom obviously has blue flags to Henry, so he had to let him go, and now Tom is fighting is that Joey Vrolik as well now. But let's turn our attention to Henry Sinnick. Is Tom going to come back at Henry Sinnick here?
I hope he doesn't.
No, it seems like he's going to stay behind, which gives Vrolik a opportunity.
Ooh.
And Vrolik, I didn't quite see what happened there, but I think there must have been a bit of contact.
Yeah, I went for the dive into turn 4. A little bit of a contact on the rear tire of Tom, and then just spun around. A bit too opportunistic, I think, from Joey.
We now have the battle for the lead. We are coming on to the final lap of the race, and this could be crucial in the champ. Oh, he spun! Jan has spun! Has he still got his front wing? I think he has.
He still has his front wing,
Oh,
yeah.
but that has just given the race victory, I would assume, to Henry Sinnick. And Noah Rivers has got involved as well. And that is, I'm going to say, championship over for Jan Wozniacki. He really needed to win the race and see what would happen, for instance, with Cass's engine. But that was, yeah, really badly timed spin for Jan, because he's not only lost 1 position, he has lost 2 positions. So that could be championship over for him. But Henry has still done a pretty good race so far, and will be a deserving victor if he can make it around this final lap. And Noah Rivers in 2nd place. What a race from him. He was arguably if I remember the race in Baku, I think he might have been gifted that podium with how it worked out. But today there will be no arguments. He has done a good race. Is that Joey Vrolik now, right on the back of Jan Woznica, trying to put him off.
It's James actually. Joey went past him coming up to turn 4, then let him pass again into turn 6, I think.
But yeah, with Jan being in 3rd position, that is only 17 points, which is not enough for him. But we turn our attention to Henry Sinnick, who is going to take another victory here this year, and he's going to secure 3rd place in the Drivers' Championship here in the 2019 Academy Series, and he takes the win in Brazil from Noah Rivers. A really good race from him in 2nd place. Then Jan Woznica, who unfortunately will not be taking the championship here in Brazil. Zoltzuks in 4th. Alfred Lorentzen in 6th, Jared Batella in 6th place, and Cas Rietveld in 7th. Your championship winner for 2019. He's done a very good season. He's been at the top in pretty much every single race there has been. He's got, I think, 3 or 4 victories over the season as well. He and his teammate Jan Wozniak have put on a really good show for us over the season, having a good battle. It's always nice when it's teammates battling as well, because they are focusing on trying to win the Constructors' title as well, which they did do. And in this last race in Brazil, they have managed to solve who is going to be the champion, and this year it is Cas Rietveld.
Yeah, great stuff from him. I think the main thing that you have to say about him is that he was just so consistent throughout the whole season. He won only 3 races, but then the lowest position that he ever finished was 8th in Japan and 6th in Germany. All the other races that he finished, I believe, also Azerbaijan, by the way, he finished 5th. But all the other races he finished either 1st, 2nd, or 3rd one time. So very, very consistent compared to Woznica, who finished 15th, 13th, 6th the time, and 2 DNFs as well, and also missed the race. So even though Woznica won 5 races total, and maybe could have won a 6th here today, but that wouldn't be the case after his spin at the end of the race there.
Yeah, Jan gave it his all, and I think Cass actually wants to have an interview, so I'm gonna see if he jump on Discord, and then we will jump across to get some words with him. He has done very well, and just while we wait for that, we'll just run you through the rest of the order. So Brantholm gets 8th place for NRWO, so that is a very good race from him. And you see the Drillers boys here doing donuts as we finish the race. And so Palazek got 9th place in the end, Remitz in 10th, Tokarev in 11th, Lapin's 12th, Wilson 13th, Tucson 14th, and Sirvatsky in 15th place. But yeah, that rounds up the racing action, at least for Academy Series. But yeah, we got Cass here, so I'm just going to jump into Discord and then we speak to him. Hello, Cass.
Hello.
You are the 2019 Academy Champion. How does that feel?
That feels very good after a very difficult race. It was... I mean, first of all, I feel really bad for Jan for... I don't know what happened, but I feel really bad for him. We had a really nice battle. But, I mean, it feels amazing.
Yeah, you had a so in some ways a comfortable race, because you knew you just had to be in the top 9, but you had an uncomfortable race because you had so many people about you doing probably their personal best of the season, so they want to do a good result and they don't want to give up the space. I saw you went around the outside of, I think it was Palazek in turn 4, and you almost went off the track.
Yeah.
Is that a pretty scary moment for you?
Yeah, I mean, I already tried to get by him 2 laps ago, and I was getting a little bit frustrated because I didn't really have the overspeed I wanted, because I had damage from turn 1 in the level 1, so I had dark blue damage on the rear. So I had a little bit a tricky race controlling the car. I got a little bit frustrated trying to overtake him, and then I went around the outside hoping it would stick, and I'm not sure what happened if he understeered into me, but luckily it all went the right way. But I was pretty nervous about that. Yeah.
And as we said, you and Jan have done a very good season. Actually, what happened to him in the end was he got undercut heavily by Cynic, and then he caught up, managed to get the lead as Cynic had a little bit of a spin, but then Jan was leading the race for a few laps, but then he spun himself with 2 laps to go. So that basically gave Henry the victory. So you did it all yourself. Jan is the one who made the mistake. So congratulations to you and your team, because obviously you won the Constructors' Championship as well.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
so
just
yeah,
phenomenal season from everyone in ACR. I want to thank them real quick, especially Chris for taking me in the team again. It's been a phenomenal season. Robin Pensar has been chucking those setups out one day after after the race ended. It's been just an amazing season with the whole team working very well together, and strategies were on point. Sometimes it's been a great season. Thank you.
yeah, no worries. You've done a really good season, and congratulations to you. However, we still have 2 races left here today. We've got the pro race come up in a bit, and they will have a slightly longer race than this, but then after that, this evening, we will have the World Championship for 71 laps around the Interlagos circuit. But until those 2 streams, we thank everyone for watching. Now know all 6 champions for this year. So that is it, but we will have 2 fun races later on where everyone will just be gloves off. So until then, thank you for watching and see you next time.